And I did a lot of research, and I started looking at what do you do to be resilient? What do you do to be able to turn something bad into something better, if not all the way to a wow, even closer to a wow? And I created this shift checklist. Now you have this on the white card in front of you. You'll see that I've got the power sign there as a good reminder, and then you've got the checklist. And let's assume for a couple of minutes that you are on your way out of work, and you just are told that the on-call person is sick. Never a good scenario. And they need someone to come in. Now, you were getting ready to leave when they glommed onto you and gave you this bit of bad news. So that's your POW. So what we want to do is take a look at how do you take the time out when you get hit with the POW, and what are the things that you can do to stay on track. Now, we're not talking about how to solve the problem of getting someone to come in. That's not what this checklist helps you with. What this checklist helps you with is solving the problem of how you're going to cope with the fact that you have a POW in front of you. You see how there's a difference there? So let's take a look at the list. The first step is to stop and breathe. So someone's just given you the news. Most of the time, we all just jump in. Everybody take a deep breath right now. How many was that your first deep breath of the day? For a lot of people, unless you have a meditation practice or you were down in the gym this morning and I didn't see you, maybe you were there earlier than I was. Anyway, we don't take a lot of deep breaths. So you've been hit with a POW simply by taking a time out and stopping for that breath. You'll right yourself a little bit more. And that helps you with that first step, which is harnessing your harmful knee-jerk reactions. We all have positive knee-jerk reactions, things that we know what to do, like we put our hand on a hot stove, we pull it off. That's positive. But when we have already been hit with a POW, they're negative knee-jerk reactions. We shout, we pout, we lash out. Those are the three most common. They're fight or flight. We shout, we pout, we lash out. So you're getting ready to leave. You've already been thinking about what you're going to do for dinner, or getting your kids to Little League, or a book you want to read. Now you've gotten the bad news. Pow! You stop and take a deep breath. Everybody with me? Harness those harmful knee-jerk reactions, because what do you want to say? Are you kidding me? Can you not see I've got my coat on my way out the door? You can't shout or pout or lash out. You're the leader of this team. That's not going to be helpful at all, is it? Which takes you right into identifying and managing your negative emotions. Identify and manage, not identifying stuff under the rug. And when I identify and manage my negative emotions, I do it at two different levels. One is at the acute level. You wouldn't be in a leadership role today if you weren't good at managing your emotions at the acute level. You know how to keep your mouth shut most of the time, don't you? You know how to do a count to 10, or say a little prayer, or maybe you excuse yourself and give yourself a minute to collect your thoughts. That's the acute piece of identifying and managing your negative emotions. But if you really want to be good at this, you have to have a systemic piece to it. And that's what you're doing outside of work to take care of yourself inside of work. I've talked to several of you here. You're sticking around in DC. You're going to do some sightseeing tonight. You're going to enjoy yourself. A couple of you kind of told me, like, in a quiet voice so that your boss back home might not hear, because we sometimes feel guilty about taking care of ourselves outside of work. But I guarantee you, when you do that, you do a better job inside of work. You heard Judy in my introduction talk about my Adventure Girl outings. My most recent one was ziplining in Asheville. 3 hours of the most phenomenal views. My last triathlon was in August. I did my 5th Iron Girl. Love to cook at the Ronald McDonald House. Talk about a perspective-making activity. I couldn't tell you how much making a meal for them enriches me. Forget about what they're getting out of it. It's keeping me on track. So you get the idea that it's important for us to take care of ourselves outside of work so that we can identify and manage our negative emotions inside of work, which takes us to finding new options. We've got POW is P-O-W, but this is P-A-O, like Kung Pao chicken. When you get to that point, you say, what did I do in the past when I had a POW like this? What would someone I admire do, or what would someone objective do? A lot of POWs are POWs because we take them personally. I can tell you, if you use the checklist, you're not going to do that. You're going to find new options that are more objective. The person did not get sick to torture you. You might be thinking that, but it's probably not the case. The person who cut you off in traffic is not torturing you. The grocery store clerk who slows down is not doing it to make you mad. It has nothing to do with us. And when we look at what we've done in the past, what someone we admire would do, or someone objective, then we're in a better place to take one positive step. If you think about what Mom taught me, it's focus on what you can control and look for the laugh, right? We don't always look for the laugh at work. We sometimes wait for it to happen to us instead of going for it. So we focus on what we can control. We look for the laugh. We pick a paradise mindset. We decide that we're going to look for the wow in the situation instead of looking at the pow. I'm not saying this is easy, but I am telling you it works. With consistency and intention, using this checklist will keep you on track. And guess what? You can use it with other people in your department as well. You can teach this to your team members. You can do team shifts where everybody gets together and you have it quick. All right, everybody stop and take a deep breath. Let's harness our harmful knee-jerk reactions. You know, who would have done the shout, the pout, the lash out? All right, we're not going to do that. Let's manage our negative emotions. How are we going to handle that? Get into some finding new options and taking one positive step. Because what do we want to get to? What do we want to do? We want to grow more all together with me. Wow. Yeah, that's what we're looking at.